Hi, and welcome to episode 128 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. I'm Ren,
And I'm River.
and today we are going to be talking about the Fae. And now, I know we've
Yes.
talked about this before, but we wanted to elaborate a little bit more.
For sure. First, how have you been? You've got a job.
Kind of. I don't know. It's
Yay.
been very stressful.
Yeah, that's is why we missed last week
Mhm,
because there was just she couldn't do it. By the time she
mhm.
got home working her crazy hours, she's like, I can't do it. And I had work going on, so she's like, I have a minute. And I'm like, but I don't.
Yeah, it was like very much like, oh, I could like breathe for not even 1 second. And then
hmm
you were like, I don't have time. And I was like, we have to do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when we did get together and put out an episode, our audio was really, really bad.
Yeah. And
So
then we did get to do our Ostara. So
that's,
hopefully you all have
I mean, the
listened to
the
our Sabbath.
the content of our Ostara
Is it the one that the
episode.
sound was
Yes,
bad?
yes. I went to go listen
Oh
to
no.
it and it's terrible.
Oh,
I was
I
like, it
haven't
sounds
listened to
like,
it.
I mean, we're 127 episodes in, and our Sabbath series is episode 2, and it really does sound like episode 2.
Oh,
It's well, I mean, we always have technical difficulties when we're together, and I think
is
just
that
this
what we call
time,
it?
yeah, technical difficulties. I mean, I wasn't even drinking and it was just chaos. And I was holding our microphone because both of our microphones don't hook up properly when we're in person
Yeah.
anymore.
And this room is not the best sound quality
Yeah. And so I'm
room. We
over
need
here.
like a studio.
I was over there holding the microphone the entire time, going back and forth between, both of us.
hmm hmm
And I would say something, but I was holding the microphone towards you and I was like, oh shoot, I know they didn't hear that. And then I would go to me, so like the sound is like not the
Is
best.
it? You
Hmm.
listen to it after, because we pay for
Yeah.
that magic whatever to make it supposedly be
Well,
equal.
it doesn't quite
It's
work.
not
So maybe we'll have
great.
to redo the Ostara episode eventually. Just right now, it's fine. But
That's so
but we hope you
sad.
enjoyed the content of our
Greg
Ostara
said he
episode.
liked it and he gave us garlic information.
Okay, great. I haven't seen that email
So
yet.
I now know how to plant the garlic this year. So I'm
Ooh.
gonna
Don't you
plant
plant them
garlic.
as like bulbs? Like, I don't know. I have to
I
read the
don't
email.
know.
Sorry,
He
Greg.
told me the type. He told me the type to get, and so I have to go and look for it. He says you plant it on the equinox and you harvest it in the fall,
Oh,
and it's biannual.
okay.
So the first year you can harvest some, but it won't be as big as if you wait the 2 years to harvest. And then my
I see.
husband, when I told him all this exciting news that Greg gave me, he's like, "We've got garlic out there," and I'm like, "What?" I was
Okay.
all excited. I'm like, one of our listeners told me how to do this, and I told him all this stuff, and he's like, "We have garlic out there,
Where?
but somewhere at the back. I have no idea, but I want to plant my own,
Hmm. See.
and I need to plant my own seeds soon that you
Hmm.
gave me."
Yes, yes, you do. Now, I don't know if we are going to be getting, plants or anything this year, talking about plants. I don't
hmm
think we're going to be getting much. I would
Well, you
like a
might be going to Europe again, right?
Yes, I think we're going to
Yeah,
Europe again.
yeah.
And so that's going to be its own venture. I mean, we're only going to be gone for a month. So I could probably bring my plants to like my friends who like live like
I
five
thought
minutes
you were
away.
I thought you were going to say I could bring my plants with me. And I'm like, I
Oh,
could just
no.
envision you packing the plants in a suitcase to take with you
That's how you
to
get
Europe.
detained by TSA or whatever it is. That's how you get detained. No, I could probably
Oh,
like if I only have like a plant
have
or
somebody
two.
house sit. I might be able to come over this summer and watch them a little bit.
Yeah, that would be fine. Or, I mean, I don't know how often you'll be over here. And usually I do
That's
tomatoes.
true.
I do really well with tomatoes, but they need to be watered at
hmm
least. I mean, it's really dry here. Like our soil dries out really fast because of how the
Yeah.
position is on our balcony
Yep.
and all of that.
On the balcony,
And
right in
so
the sun.
we tend to water them whenever they get like dry, like once a day, probably in the mornings. And so I would love some tomatoes. I really want the chocolate cherry tomatoes.
Oh yeah, those things are awesome.
I love them and I really want one this year. But again, like we're
I
leaving,
think
so
you
I just
gave
don't
me
know.
seeds to those because it goes with
Oh
the
yeah,
dark
because
color.
it's the dark.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
I'm going
really,
for all the dark colors. I'm
yeah.
excited.
But um, but yeah, I don't know if we'll have plants or maybe one. I don't know.
Well, speaking of plants,
Yes.
we have marigolds today because we bought, okay,
Hmm.
so what are we drinking?
Oh
That
yeah.
this is what I'm leading to.
We even got off on a tangent before we got off on our tangents.
So my hubby and I went on a little romantic getaway, and I found this lovely book, and it is called Tarot and Tequila, and it is by David A. Ross, who it's
Hmm.
got a whole thing in the front about him. He's such an interesting man, but it's got all kinds of drinks that correspond to the tarot cards, and it's
It's
not just tequila.
it's really cool.
Yes, we decided after I got this book that for our next episode that we would do a tarot draw and use that tarot draw to make our cocktail of the week. So
Hmm.
we pulled the judgment card, which we're being judged at the moment, apparently.
Apparently.
We're supposed to be changing our lives and we aren't listening. Although you've got a job, I
I don't
don't know
know.
what I'm supposed to be changing. I have no idea.
Maybe I'm not supposed to have my job. Maybe I'm supposed to quit.
There you go.
That's what I
Well,
need to change.
remind me to tell you about my dreams lately in this episode.
Okay.
It'll be another tangent later, but crazy ass dreams.
Okay.
But okay, so this cocktail in his book is called the Judgment Cocktail, and it's got gin, lemon juice, honey simple syrup, which was very fun to make, and then this calendula iced tea, which is an iced tea that you make out of marigolds.
Hmm.
And you put it in a saucepan and you make it, and there's directions on how to do that. And then it also has an egg white, which gives it this cool frothy looking look.
It's very interesting. I'm not sure if I did it right.
Yeah, well, and I like it. Um, it's interesting. I have never made the marigold tea before.
Oh yeah, no, me neither. But it felt normal because I make tea all the time. So like making the tea itself wasn't the problem. It was like incorporating egg whites and trying to,
Yeah,
shake it
that
up
was kind of
and
weird.
make it into like this cocktail. And I mean, it's very good.
But
It's delicious.
so fun. We will have to
Hmm.
do some more of his cocktails, but y'all have to buy his book to get the actual ingredients, not the ingredients, but the actual measurements on how to do it.
Wow, you're
Um,
over here like this person doesn't even sponsor us, and you're over here saying you guys have to go
I
buy
know,
his
but
book.
maybe he listens to us.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too. I don't know. But anyway, it's a very fun cocktail. So yeah, for sure y'all should try it. Anyway,
Okay.
back to our
Topic.
regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, if you guys even remember what we're going to talk about, that's how long we've
I
been
know.
talking.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
Oh wow. So, anyways, we wanted to do another episode on the Fae
Hmm.
because we did an episode with Witch Wednesday a while ago. I don't
Yeah,
remember
that
specifically what episode that was.
I don't either, but it was really fun. It's so fun to connect with other witches out there.
It was a lot of fun, but do you remember? I do remember this that I was having, like what I said earlier, audio difficulties.
Yeah, you were.
When
I did a
it
lot of
was like
talking.
going in and out, and I didn't really get to put much input, I guess you could say, into the conversation because I mean, it was like my internet and I was still there and I could hear what you guys were saying, but when I was speaking, you guys couldn't hear
Yeah, we
me.
couldn't hear you.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
I remember that. We'll have to do another episode with her. She's a fun lady. She's still got her podcast going, The Witch Wednesday,
Oh
so you should
yeah.
look her up as well.
It was really fun. And so off of that, I know we kind of, skirted over some topics. Like there's
Hmm.
so much to the Fae that we just don't really
We could have
understand or know.
we could actually have an entire podcast
We
just
could
on the Fae.
just on the
So
Fae. So,
yeah.
I mean, we each picked one or two. I
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
we kind of picked more than that, and then we just kind of narrowed it down to what we could get
Yeah.
into one episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about brownies, and I'm so excited
Me
because
too. I love brownies.
I love brownies, as in
I
food
love
brownies.
food brownies. You know, when I was doing research to help you out with the brownies, it kept coming up with these pictures of
Of
food brownies, and I'm
brownies.
like, no. There's apparently
Yes.
an actual company out there called Fairy Tale Brownies,
Really?
and they bake brownies, and they're actually based on the Fae brownies, which is the
I
coolest
mean,
thing.
it's
So you should go
clever.
check them out too.
It's very
We need to
clever.
have them support us as well.
Sponsor
But
this episode.
that's it. Yes.
So,
Okay.
anyways,
Yes.
brownies.
Back to our topic.
Yes. So, brownies are mythical creatures, mythical or real,
Or
whatever you want to
not.
say.
I
Yeah.
mean, on Witch Wednesday, she has brownies in
And
her
I
home.
fully believe it. I believe
Hmm.
you have something. I'm not sure it's brownies, though. After
Well,
doing more
brownies
research
would
on
be
brownies,
very upset with me because I am not a clean person and they really like a clean house.
yeah, so that's what makes me think it's not brownies.
Hmm.
Anyways, okay, so they're
Hmm.
mythical creatures or not that are often depicted as helpful and benevolent household
Hmm.
sprites,
Spirits.
or
Well,
sprites.
kind of.
I feel like they could be both.
I think so.
Okay,
But yeah, whatever.
anyways, spirits or sprites, who knows? So they are part of the fairy folklore in English and Scottish traditions. I love a
Hmm.
good Scottish tradition.
Hmm.
Brownies are known for performing domestic chores and tasks. I'm already struggling. Wow. In homes, especially during night, and in exchange for maybe some offerings or small gifts. Like we talk about leaving honey out for the fae a lot,
Hmm.
just
And cream.
in cream, just like
Hmm.
in generic topics that we have or around the house. Or I think we talked about it in feng shui. I don't know.
Well,
Um,
especially with brownies because they help you out and they're the fae of your household. So you want to show them respect and gratitude.
Oh, definitely. And I think
Yeah.
that the Fae are something you shouldn't really mess with, in my opinion,
Hmm.
which is one of the
Hmm.
reasons I personally don't work with any on purpose. Like they could be
Hmm.
here just doing their own little thing, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't know. I don't leave offerings for them, sadly, because I don't want to be on
I
anybody's bad side if I forget one night.
I saw the coolest story on Facebook about this woman, and she turned on her shower and turned around, and she had left her bra on the floor. And
Hmm.
on the bra was this teeny tiny human looking footprint.
Hmm.
I mean, it was 100% a human footprint. And all these people are like, "Oh, it's a rat, it's a mouse." I'm like, "That is not." And she thinks that what happened is she turned on the shower, surprised a fae or a brownie,
Hmm.
perhaps, that
Hmm.
was in her shower, and it immediately jumped out of the shower and left that one little
Oh, the
footprint. It
little
was,
wet footprint from the water.
yes, yeah, it was the
Aw.
coolest thing. Yeah,
You'll need to send me that video.
yeah, it's very cool.
Okay, and so now the appearance of brownies. So brownies are often described as small humanoid beings,
With
similar to
human
other,
footprints.
yes, similar to other types of fairies. So like, I mean, when you generically think of a quote fairy, you think of like Tinkerbell type of vibe.
Tinkerbell. Yeah.
And they're not all like that, but brownies
No.
are I don't even want to say brownies are similar to Tinkerbell because they're not.
No.
But
No.
they are kind of in that way, that small little
Yeah.
humanoid-like creature.
Hmm.
And they are generally depicted as friendly and somewhat, mischievous in appearance.
Hmm.
So they are household little helpers. They are renowned for their willingness to assist with household chores. They might sweep the floors, wash the dishes, tidy up, when anybody in the household is asleep.
Yes.
This helpful nature distinguishes them from other types of fairies that may engage in more playful or even bad behavior, if you want to
Yeah.
call it bad, because, they have a
Th-
different
that's right.
understanding of what good and bad is and versus like what we have. We have human emotions, they have fae emotions,
And who even knows what they think of us? We could be like little, pets to them,
peasants.
you know, peasants. Yeah.
Brownies appreciate small gifts or offerings left for them as a token of gratitude. These offerings can include a bowl of milk, a piece of bread, or other simple treats. They are
They like
also, go
they
ahead,
like shiny things.
and
They
shiny
do like
things.
shiny things. Yep.
But I think they would be offended by my shiny things because my shiny things are
Why?
fake.
I don't know
They
that
are
they
fake.
care about they just like shiny. I don't think it matters what makes them shiny.
I'm trying to
I
think about what
actually
I have shiny
bought
in my house.
I bought some shiny stuff to leave out for brownies, but before I can do that, I need to get control over my household cleaning schedule because they get really pissed off if you don't keep your house clean.
Yeah.
And
I feel,
I mean, ours is not, we're not filthy. It's not like, the police would come and take us away or anything, but we are certainly not the cleanest that we need to be. And so before I start actively trying to obtain some Fae
uh-huh.
brownies to my house, I want to make sure I won't offend them first.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I would say that for, I mean, everybody too, just because of how they are and, they take offense very easily, I
They
think.
do. And
And
that's because
so,
we don't understand their
yes,
thought
yes. And
processes.
so if they feel offended or that their helpful actions are being taken like for granted,
Mm-hmm.
they can, it's offensive. Like they go out of their way to hide things and, they
Mm-hmm.
can turn into something that's not so happy and giddy and oh yeah, I clean your house at night, I tidy up
Mm-hmm.
for you. It can turn you can do a 180 real quick
That's for sure. For
with the
sure.
Fae. So they're also shy and secretive. Brownies are often described as shy and elusive creatures. I love the word
Mm-hmm.
elusive. They prefer to work behind the scenes and are said to be, easily offended, like I said, if they feel like they're being watched or their actions are being observed. So they're easily offended in if they feel like you're like taking them for granted or if you try to observe them in any way. They don't like to be watched. They like
Mm-hmm.
just don't like they're there to do their thing and
Yep.
you're just do your own thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
your worlds do not collide
Mm-hmm.
is what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
they're not going to sit down and have a cup of tea with you. That's
Absolutely
not the way
not.
it works, right?
Yes. So while they are generally helpful, they are also considered guardians of a household as well. In some
Mm-hmm.
traditions, it is believed that a brownie will leave a home if it feels mistreated or disrespected. Controversially, nailed it. I have a hard time with that word. Treating a brownie well can result in continued assistance and good fortune for the household.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Scottish folklore, where brownies are particularly prominent. They were, or how can I say this? They're called or sometimes known as bogarts or buggerts.
Yeah, I think that when Harry Potter was written, she used this lore to
I see.
put the
Yes.
boggarts into her
Yes.
books.
They're also
You know,
called urisks or
a lot of
eurisks as
books
well.
take the lore and kind of twist it. So
Hmm.
you need to do research, especially if you want to work with brownies,
Absolutely.
because what you see on TV and movies is not exactly how it is. Like one of my favorite books, I love to read urban fantasy, and I was reading one, and the one of the characters in the book is a brownie,
Hmm.
and she comes to work for this detective. It's a grave magic type. It's a really cool book. I can't remember her name, Kalela something, but she a brownie comes and works in her home. She kind of inherited this brownie because of the household. The
Yeah.
brownies tend to like to stay with
Hmm.
their household.
Yeah.
And so she inherited this brownie and she comes to work for her as a secretary. And it's hilarious the way they portray the brownies. So, but do research because just because we
Yes.
read something in fiction does not
Yeah.
mean
And like
that
some of
that's,
like exactly. So some of the stuff like when you're doing your research, it obviously pops up with fiction.
hmm
Like
hmm
like,
it's a
oh,
myth.
and in this story, and this is how they're
hmm
portrayed here. So we do have a lot of like folklore that I'm going to talk about, but who knows exactly what's real in this folklore because it's also
hmm
you have to have direct contact or like what's the word like a relationship with a brownie to fully understand how they work, but you also have to
hmm
understand before you go in, like it's like a one of those loop arounds where it's like did the
hmm
chicken come before the egg or vice
hmm
versa. So I mean just I would say have respect, do as much research as you can, maybe know both real and fact like fictional
hmm
stories so that you know how they've been portrayed. Maybe they've been betrayed in a mean and evil way. And so a lot of people's knowledge about brownies is in a negative light. And maybe you can help a brownie that you're specifically working with to understand that maybe we don't all view them that way.
That's true. hmm
Okay. Now, after I've really struggled with my words, as it seems I'm going to for the rest of this episode, the stories about brownies have been passed down through generations and often vary in details, like I said. So, from one region to another, they're going to be a little bit different.
hmm
Now, in medieval and Renaissance folklore, there are references to brownies, and they can be found in like I don't know how many literature books and just
Right.
literature in general, like a lot of it. I'm already struggling
See,
again.
that's what makes me think there's more to it than just fiction because
There's
everybody
a
from
lot.
history always has these quote stories about them. So
Absolutely.
I think there's more to it than just mythology.
Yes. And so these early accounts often portrayed brownies as helpful household spirits, emphasizing their role in performing chores and in exchange for small offerings. So who
hmm
knows? Maybe the brownies just were hanging around because they really liked it, and then they, started tidying up, and then they became well known for being
hmm
tidy little creatures.
There's some story about a cobbler who had to make shoes and the brownies helped him, but I don't remember what the whole story is.
Hmm.
hmm
I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but I cannot remember.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
And
think like it had a moral to it, like don't
mhm,
like I think he took them for granted like you were talking
yeah.
about and it turned out badly for
Hmm.
him. I'm not positive,
Hmm.
but anyway.
I mean, the references of brownies, they evolve over stories. So like even with us talking, somebody's going to hear us and go, "Oh, I heard on this podcast blah blah blah,"
Yeah,
and they
this
might
is the
not get
truth.
everything
Mhm.
correct. Like they could miss
Mhm.
something or maybe we even said something incorrect, etc.
Mhm.
So stories evolve over time. So many cultures have different tales and variations and depictions of brownies, and
Mhm.
some cultures only have them as shy and secretive, while some have them as these helpful, diligent creatures.
Mhm.
So, despite all of the changes in cultural beliefs and the decline of traditional folklore, stories about brownies have survived in several formats. They continue
Mhm.
to be part of culture and cultural heritage and storytelling in the British Isles, which I really think, I don't know, when I think of like a brownie, I really think of them in like Scotland for real. Like I like
Mhm.
Scotland and maybe Europe a little bit. I don't know. The
Mhm.
US to me is more modernized and more
Yeah, we're
like
very new except for the
yes.
native people and they have their own uh, stories and
Yes,
their
yes,
own
they do.
creatures.
And maybe they're the same types of creatures. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
maybe, or, like us, where we each have our own different cultures and our own different like skin colors and
Mhm.
beliefs and all of that. Maybe they're a variation of Fae, but it's different than because brown there's multiple Fae types, and so maybe it's a different Fae that
Mhm.
we had here in Native America, so
For sure.
maybe there's some sort of connection, maybe they are Fae and stuff like that, but
hmm
I don't know, brownies to me just seem localized to like
To Europe.
Europe, UK.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I mean, obviously they can travel now. We have airplanes and they can obviously hitch like little piggyback rides on people, which I would, if I were a brownie, I would be like, I'm out of here. I'm seeing the world. So I don't know. But like a lot of modern interpretations sometimes portray them as more whimsical and fantasy like.
Hmm.
Because I mean, you remember that those books. I read them when I was younger. It begins with an S.
Spiderwick.
Spiderwick. That's
I read them
exactly
too.
it. I
I
loved
love
those
those
books.
books.
And I watched the movie. Now, the movie wasn't, I was a little disappointed in the movie because it didn't
I
match the
wish
books.
I wish they had
Um,
carried on the movies because the books, I
I
loved
mean,
those
they were
books.
they were they were great books. Now, I read them when I was much younger, so now if I go to read it now, I'd probably be like, "What the heck is this?" Maybe.
Mm,
But I would love to
I
get my
don't know.
hand
They
on
were
that
good.
collection again. They were
Hmm.
very good books.
Hmm.
So while I was doing research on like modern interpretations, the only thing I could really think of was Spiderwick, but I couldn't remember what the name of the books were or anything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know that uh, speaking of things that are used in books, supposedly, if a family wanted a brownie to leave, they would give it new clothes because it said that they
Oh.
would run around naked. So giving them clothes indicated you wanted them to leave. And in Harry Potter,
Yes.
yes, he got Dobby got the sock and was
Yeah.
then free to
Was
go.
free. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. That's rather
Interesting.
interesting.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then, so now if you want to work with a brownie, I know we've kind of hit on it a little bit, but if you want to work with a brownie, obviously do research before attempting. But to really understand their traditional roles, understand their characteristics and their preferences.
Hmm.
This knowledge will help you approach them with respect and cultural sensitivity.
Hmm.
And then you want to create a welcoming environment, which is what you were saying. So
Hmm.
brownies are said to be drawn to homes that are clean, tidy, and welcoming. I feel like, I don't know,
Yep.
my house has a lot of dog fur and cat fur. I just get
No,
sticky,
I believe that a brownie would be so happy to be in your house.
and not in
Your
the state that it's in right now.
your house is very clean.
I'm just looking
You are a
around.
clean freak.
I am. I am. But
I
um
wish one of my personalities liked to clean.
maybe you can go get hypnotized. I've been looking into that. Anyways, let's not dwell on that.
Okay. Okay.
But just ensure that your living space is well maintained and harmonious, and then you'll basically attract brownies. You'll be more likely to have them in your household, and the way that you maintain your space is shows respect for them.
Yeah, speaking of spiderwick, did you
Okay.
know that if you mistreat a brownie, it might become a more malicious fae, the boggart, like you were talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
Mm-hmm.
And these creatures, instead of helping you out, they play mischievous tricks on you.
Yeah. But I don't
And
know. It's
you don't
just so
know?
hard. It's so hard because like you could be doing your absolute best, but they could still take
Hmm.
it the wrong way.
Hmm.
Like what if like exactly like my house is in shambles right now because we've been working and like I've been working, my husband obviously is working. And so now
Hmm.
we're not home as much. And so there's shoes just splayed across the floor, there's dirty dishes, our coffee table's crooked. We
I
like,
don't believe you.
oh, do you want me to
You
show you?
would like you have the most, what is the word? OCD thing about cleanliness. I can't
It probably
imagine.
is on OCD. I've just never been diagnosed. So I can't really say OCD. Like I can't use that term.
It must
Um,
really bother you when you come over to my house.
not so much because that's your space. Like
It's
I'm not
not,
gonna clean your space for you. So
you have
I
before.
have on request of you asking, okay, let's be clear.
So
But
y'all, she would come over whenever I have a party or whatever. And of course she's invited and her husband are invited. And I'm like, can you help me with this? And the house never looks so good
well,
as
yeah,
when
you
she
asked
gets
me
her
for
hands
help
on it.
and if I do anything, it's I go above and beyond when I do
You
anything.
do.
And
You
so
do.
cleaning is not one of those things where I'm not going to go above and beyond. But right now in my house, the shoes flayed about. We have clean clothes that are dumped onto our bed, our unmade bed.
Oh, wow. That I can't believe that.
And let me think. What else is like our we have dirty clothes in our bathroom. Like I use dry shampoo. There's dry shampoo all over the sink right now in our bathroom. And we're just a mess right now. And that's just because we haven't really had time to keep tidy. And we had dishes sitting on our coffee table for 2 days because we ate
Oh
out for
my
2 days in a row.
Lord.
So it was 3 day old plates.
That is unheard of for
Because
you.
we
Well,
got
but
home
I'm
and there was
so
no
glad you
time
got
to
a job.
cook, and then now there's old food sitting on my crooked whatever you call it thing that sits in the middle of my living room coffee
I'm so
table.
proud that you got a job though.
Oh, I'm
That's
not.
so
I'm
exciting.
tired.
But hey, you're earning
I
money.
know, but I'm tired, and it's not just like physically tired. I'm mentally tired, and that's why I'm messing up
That's
all my words. I'm going to use that as an excuse for this episode as to why I'm messing up my words. I don't need an excuse for any of the other times, but this time it's because I'm tired. Um,
we have totally gotten off
we
topic.
really have. When you're working with brownies, specifically, it's very important to express gratitude towards them. So, it just, I know I said don't acknowledge their presence, but acknowledge their presence in a way of like, you should keep your house tidy. That's a way
Hmm.
of acknowledging them without directly acknowledging them. Maybe instead of like how I did last night, don't look at the dishes and say, I'll just do it tomorrow. Maybe just throw them into the dishwasher and run a load.
Hmm.
It's something simple like that, which shows them gratitude.
And it
I
shows that
mean,
you're trying, and that's why
yes,
they need to help you. It makes them
yes.
want to help you.
But then on the other hand, avoid direct observation, like how I said, because
Yeah.
they're very shy and they want to
Hmm.
perform their chores in private.
Hmm.
And then offerings. I know I'm kind of, rambling now about offerings and things that you can leave, but it's more than just like milk and honey and maybe pieces of bread, like you said, shiny things, or maybe there's something that you find very important to you, and so you want to offer that to them, and that
Well,
in a way is very
I
respectful.
I also feel like as you have the brownies in your home, you're going to come to know them and their personality.
Hmm.
And so as you know them and their personality, it might be, maybe they want whiskey, and
Hmm.
you're going to know that as you work with them.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe they want a block of cheese. Maybe
They
maybe
might,
they see you making a charcuterie board and they're like, "Hey, I want a charcuterie board." So,
right?
I that would
You
be
know,
me if I were Faye.
I
I'd
w-
be like, "I want your charcuterie board."
give me meat and cheese.
Meat,
I
cheese,
want,
and all the fig preserves. I love a good fig preserve.
do you think that brownies like cats and home animals?
I don't know. Maybe a household where the animals are more mild. Like my dog is so energetic. Anything that she
Mm-hmm.
sees, she's so happy like all the time. My cat
Mm-hmm.
is meh. So I think with my cat it would be fine where if you would think that the roles would be reversed.
Mm-hmm.
But since my dog is so energetic and just like all over the place, I think she would make the brownies very agitated and in
Mm-hmm.
disarray. Like they would not want, they would be very uncomfortable here.
I feel like dogs are energetic. I mean, mine is very old. She is like 16 years old, so
Hmm.
a brownie might love her and
Yeah.
want to help her.
Hmm. Come on, little old
Um,
lady, let's go get you your
mm-hmm.
food.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So I guess it
like a fae helping your dog walk across the street, like crosswalk helper.
exactly. Exactly. And I think that when they come into your home, they accept all of you as family.
Hmm.
So even if you've got, Honey who is hyperactive, I think that a brownie in your home would understand that and accept that.
Yeah. And her name is Honey. So,
Hmm.
they like honey.
They
They
like
like the
honey.
dog Honey.
That's
Anyways,
true.
that's really all that I really had on Faye, which I feel like was a lot of
That was a
information.
lot. I mean, I feel
Um,
like we've almost done, how
just
long
on
have we
one
been
episode. I
talking?
don't
I know.
know. So I guess let's just do one more and then we'll have to do
Okay.
another episode on Faye, which I'm not complaining. I really like doing these.
I do too. And there's so many and there's so
Oh
much
my
out
gosh,
there.
yes.
So I wanted to talk about sirens. For some reason, I have been super interested in sirens
Have
lately.
you been seeing all the videos on like TikTok and social media about sirens?
No,
Oh my gosh, they're so cool. They're like these men in fisher boats. You're talking about
really.
those types of sirens, right?
There, there,
Like the
there
mermaid
are
like
there are two types, but that's
one
the
of them.
type that
That's the one
I
you're talking
know.
about.
Yeah. Hmm.
So there are these videos, and you know how men, well, I guess not just men, but there are people who work on boats overnight for fishing and like, I don't even really know. That's not, I hate the ocean, so I don't really know about the
That's so
professions that
crazy.
happen on the ocean. But anyways, nevertheless, I think they're fishermen and they are out at sea at night and they'll be recording whatever they're doing and they hear singing out from out beyond and there's nobody on like their radar, like they're the only
Yep.
ship out there and there's like singing. And one time one of the boats, it was like not a big ship, it was a relatively like maybe smaller medium boat. I don't know
Okay.
boats. If you know boats, let me know. So it was moving pretty fast and they recorded this creature moving at the speed of the boat next to their boat, like with them, and it was moving as if like it were humanoid type.
See, I
Rather
I think
interesting.
sirens are a thing. That's why I wanted to talk about them. They are very cool.
I'll have to find the
So
video and send it to you, but it's really cool.
definitely send
Yes.
it to me. I wanna
Yes.
I wanna see it. I haven't been on TikTok lately, other than to post our TikToks.
Yeah. I guess
I've
I
done
saw
a
this TikTok a while ago.
I posted a spider as familiars
Mm-hmm.
TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and what else did I post?
I don't I haven't been
I've
on
posted
TikTok, like
a
our
couple
TikTok.
TikToks lately. So yeah, you all should go check out our TikTok. I've been working
Yes.
hard trying to get stuff out there for you guys because we love
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, so sirens. The first thing that is interesting is that there are two definitions of
I kind of jumped the
sirens
gun
that
there,
I
didn't
could find. You
I?
did, and both are actually from Greek legend.
Okay.
But one is this half bird, half human,
Oh,
and one is half fish, half human.
okay.
I always associated the half bird, half human creature to harpies,
Oh,
not
yes. Yes.
sirens, right? Right?
That makes sense.
To me, sirens are a part of the ocean and
hmm
harpies are air creatures and sirens are water creatures.
But do we associate that because of like modern day media, like Pirates of the Caribbean and
There's
other movies like
there's
that?
there is a whole history here. It's
Okay.
very interesting. I did not know this when I started to do the research because I
Okay.
always thought of the mermaid type creature.
Yeah.
So the word siren talks about true sirens, which are the sirens of classical Greek mythology, the bird women related to harpies and Lilith. Siren has evolved from a synonym for mermaid, which is a fish woman. The Spanish and French word for mermaid was sirena and sirena. I do
We're,
not know
s-
how to speak those languages.
we're trying our
What
best.
uh, these two different types share in common are associations with sex, eroticism, oracles, and death. And I honestly, I should have realized when I felt this call to do sirens, you know that it would have had to do with sex. She's
No
just
comment.
looking at me. Yeah, she's just looking at me, y'all, with this dead stare.
No
She's like,
comment. If you
whatever.
guys could see my face, y'all would have the same face. Eye roll. Can you hear my eyes?
I roll, we can hear it.
Yeah.
So both are famous for their beautiful, alluring voices, which to me is the essence of a siren. Did you know actually there is a siren in current day modern that you can actually go see it? They're salamanders. They're an animal
Oh,
in the kingdom of salamanders.
okay. That's cool.
Fascinating.
Salamanders.
Okay. So the fish sirens, which are the ones that I have always thought about, they're like mermaids, but they are considered to be, quote, more evil than
Mm,
mermaids.
define evil to them.
I know, right? So mermaids are generally good-natured, and sirens are considered the dark, edgy sisters of mermaids.
Okay.
They're considered to be these, quote, evil creatures who live in the sea. Generally, they're depicted as beautiful women with the tails of a fish, but they've also been known to have humanoid features, Jesus, with but have sharp teeth for tearing apart humans.
Mm.
Sirens are known for wow, now I'm struggling, luring in sailors with their enchanting songs and then killing them,
Ooh, see,
which
that's the
is
one I've heard. That's
that's the
popular.
one
Yeah.
I've heard about too.
Yeah.
The air sirens are the sirens that have the bird part and the woman part. They're bird, not fish, but bird. Are you laughing at me?
Bird, not fish, but bird with woman part. That's
What?
literally
Whatever.
LOL.
So, what distinguishes them from other bird women spirits like Lilith or the harpies is their power of the power of their song.
Uh-huh.
They have
Oh
that
yeah.
siren song,
You hear that
which
like legend of like it'll see that's the thing. Will it only lure men or what about
mhm,
women as well who
yeah, I
are,
know.
you know what I'm trying to say, who are
I
like
I think
open to everyone?
well, I mean even
Like
even if
is it only calling to those who are attracted to the voice, like the sound of
it's
a woman or
I
something?
think the voice is so beautiful, it enchants everyone, whether it's
Everyone.
men, women, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But sirens can do more than just sing. They are oracle people,
Hmm.
creatures. So Odysseus um, had his encounters with sirens,
Hmm.
and they're supposed to be these erotic goddesses of love and desire. But did you know they are the friends and servants of Persephone? So Demeter, who was Persephone's mother,
Hmm.
gave them wings. This is the air ones to
Okay.
help search for Persephone. Remember, because
Yeah.
Hades came and kidnapped her.
Yep.
And once they found her, Persephone was like, "You can become my handmaidens." And so,
Okay.
yeah, so their function for Persephone was to escort souls to the queen of the dead,
That's pretty
Persephone.
cool. I
Hmm.
uh I like how this information wraps into some of our previous episode information. Like I think that's pretty cool.
It is. I love this information. I love the Fae. I love the quote mythology, which
Oh
may
yeah.
be
Hmm.
actual history.
Yeah.
Um, but it isn't just unlucky, sea men that the sirens lure to their death. They might collect souls that are already destined to die, which makes sense if they're working for Persephone and
Hmm.
they help bring souls to the dead.
Hmm.
They appear to those who are already doomed. So perhaps the real reason that Odysseus escaped death was because it wasn't his time to go,
Maybe.
you know?
Maybe.
So in addition to attending Persephone, the sirens have also got close associations with Hera, who is Zeus's wife. A statue of Hera depicts her holding little tiny sirens in her hands, and Hera encouraged the sirens to engage in musical competition with the muses, which is a whole different story. We need to do an episode on the
Oh
muses
yeah.
as well,
Yeah, that
and
sounds.
and the fates too. There's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of stuff out there, but the muses were allies of Apollo,
Hmm.
and the victorious muses, they beat the sirens. They made themselves crowns of feathers that they plucked from the sirens.
Hmm.
This is the
Okay,
this is the
okay.
air sirens.
Yes.
So did you know Circe is one of the most famous sirens, known for her ability to transform men into animals. And she appears in Homer's Odyssey and
Mm-hmm.
also, which is, she's also featured in a whole bunch of different literature and
Yeah.
art.
Mm-hmm.
Lorelei is a famous siren from German folklore.
Oh, German.
And yeah, I mean, this is what's so fascinating about the Fae.
Mm-hmm.
Not just anyone, you can look and go, oh, well, boy, wasn't that culture stupid for believing it? They're
Uh-huh.
in all the freaking
There, see,
cultures.
that's what I really love about things before modern day, like internet and connectivity, was
Yes.
a lot of the cultures have very similar histories, even though they had no connection to each
No
other
contact,
whatsoever. I
right?
just think it's the coolest thing, which means that there's something. It
I think
means
so.
that there's something. I don't know. Maybe I'm
I think
wrong, but
so.
that's what I will die on that hill. I believe there's something.
I think so too. And Lorelei was German, and she's known for luring sailors to their deaths on the Rhine River. And she has been in all kinds of poems and songs and stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then Calypso,
Yes.
everybody has heard of
Yes,
Calypso.
we all know.
She is a siren from Greek mythology known for her beauty and her ability to keep men captive on her island. So, of course, she's in Homer's Odyssey
Hmm.
and is featured in a whole bunch of other works of art and literature as well.
Hmm.
But let's talk about their song because I think that is the crux of
Yes,
a siren.
absolutely. Hmm.
The siren song is supposed to be irresistible. Sirens are singing goddesses whose alluring voices can neither be resisted nor ignored. And so that your question about whether it
So
was
it's like
only men,
everybody.
I think everybody,
Okay.
and of course their most famous appearance is in Homer's Odyssey,
Hmm.
but they showed up in the saga of Jason and the Argonauts as well. But sirens generally sing. They are perched on rocks. We've all seen the pictures of the surf coming up against the rocks and they're sitting there beautiful and singing.
Hmm.
And Odysseus is warned that anyone that hears the siren song will feel compelled to draw close to them, and the end result will be that they're going to be killed on the rocks, which
Yeah.
is what sirens like to do.
Yes.
And so what he did in his story is he put wax in his crew's ears so that
Hmm.
they could row
Hmm.
past the Sirens Island without being tempted.
Hmm.
And he has himself lashed to a post so that even though he can hear his song, he is not able to get to them.
Hmm.
So he is supposed to be the only man ever who has heard their song and lived.
Smart. Smart man.
Yeah,
Smart. See,
yeah.
where I've heard of, let me think, like sirens is
Hmm.
from, oh gosh, I think I'm just getting a whole ton of like movies mixed up in my head, but Pirates of the Caribbean or Caribbean, however you
Hmm.
say it. Um,
Calypso was in that one.
Calypso was also in that one, but you also
Hmm.
had sirens. And then there's another show or movie that there were water sirens. Like I'm talking about water sirens in both of these
Hmm.
cases.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think, was it Percy Jackson?
Oh, maybe. It's been a long
It
time since I
has
watched
been
that.
such a long time, but there was, I can't remember. I can picture it in my head, but it was such a good scene, and I think about them in that way.
There is actually TV series about sirens,
Hmm.
all kinds of
Wait.
things.
Harry Potter. Am I right?
Well, there
Harry
were,
Potter had some too.
speaking of the teeth, here I'm making these,
You're
if you all
doing
could
the,
see me.
you can't see us, but we're over here going, yeah, and then this, and we talk with
Um,
our hands.
when he does that scene where he is trying, it's the Goblet of Fire,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
has to
yeah.
go, yeah,
Into the
he
water.
yes, there are mermaids, but they have these teeth. And
Uh-huh.
there's also this song. I think the author, what is her name? Oh,
J.K. Rowling.
geez. J.K. Rowling. Um, she used a lot of Fae lore
She
in
did.
her stories.
She did
Hmm.
use a lot. And manipulated it in some ways, which I mean, it made a great story, but it
Hmm.
also, we don't have all the facts, and a lot of people saw those movies and all of that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of sad. I mean,
You know, and people
she
are like,
remade it her own, but at the same time, it kind of tainted the public view of what Fae are in a
maybe,
way. In a way.
maybe. I mean, it's hard to say because sirens are supposed to be, they're not mermaids.
No.
And mermaids are seen as these, beautiful
Hmm.
creatures, blah, blah,
Hmm.
blah. And sirens have an ulterior motive. Um, Supposedly, they had a reason to act out against men, which a lot of literature
Yeah.
takes advantage of that story.
Hmm.
But, like,
Hmm.
in art, they're often shown as carrying harps, lyres, and other instruments. Is that how you
Hmm.
pronounce that? That looks so funny to me.
What? Leers or liars?
Lyres?
Leers? I always thought it
Anyway,
was Leers.
maybe it is. It just looks funny to me.
Hmm.
And so that helps to symbolize their beautiful voices. And then think
Yes,
about The Little
yes.
Mermaid.
Oh yeah.
The Little Mermaid by Christian Andersen, which Disney made into that beautiful, cute
Beautiful
little
movie.
story. I
Yeah.
love that movie. It's one of my favorite Disney
It's one
movies.
of mine too.
But it takes history and uses it in the story. And so does Hans Christian Andersen.
Hmm.
Her voice was what got her in trouble, so to speak.
Hmm.
And that was what was
Hmm.
taken away by the evil character in
Yeah.
that story,
Hmm.
because it was her essence.
Yeah.
So, how do you use siren magic in your practice? Obviously, music magic.
Oh
I mean,
yeah. I could see that.
sirens
Yeah.
are all about music.
Hmm.
So, music can be used in mental and physical therapy to aid in healing your body, your mind, your soul, your aura. We can use the emotions felt through music and its unique fluid energy in our magic. I
Hmm.
think there is a lot to be said about sound magic and music magic.
Hmm. I agree.
You can also use the sirens in sea magic.
Yeah.
So, water
Yeah.
magic, yeah, you've
Hmm.
got emotions, intuition, healing, love, purification, and spiritual growth, which is the embodiment of sea magic.
Hmm.
You have air magic, which for the air ones, which I still consider harpies, but if you want to use the air sirens, air magic is good for communication, intellect, clarity, inspiration, travel, and mental pursuits.
Hmm.
And then, of course, my favorite is love and sex magic, which the sirens are the embodiment of, I think. Sirens are considered irresistible, so invoking their correspondences could be helpful in that kind of magic, I think.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, I could see that too. Like, because that,
Mhm.
I mean, they have that type of energy about
They
them
do. They do.
because they lure people, I'm not going to say men, but people to their
Hmm.
death via
Hmm.
like ear
Their
vibrations.
Yeah, yeah. Their music, their sexuality, their
Hmm.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got on sirens. I find them
Hmm.
very fascinating.
Hmm. Yeah, the next one I was gonna do is nymphs. I really was so excited to talk about nymphs, but
We will have to do
we'll
that
save that for
next
another
time.
episode because we talked a little bit longer on these two than what we thought.
And if you all want any specific Fae talked about, let us know
Oh
because I
yeah.
don't have one
Yeah.
necessarily picked out. I can redo whatever you all want.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do nymphs for sure. And
Yes.
then whatever you all ask us to do.
Mm-hmm. So, do you want me to do the outro if I can remember?
Yes, ma'am.
So, thank you for listening. Um, if you want to see more, you can go to our website. That's www.c3witchypodcast.com. There we have all of our links to our social medias. Clear my throat. All of our social medias. That's YouTube. I want to say YouTube first because please go support us. We've gotten a few more
Yes.
subscriber, which is
Yes, thank
great.
you.
I'm
Thank
so
you. Thank
excited.
you.
I hadn't been on our YouTube in a while because I schedule everything in
Mm-hmm.
advance, so I don't get to see all the analytics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it said 107 subscribers, and I was like, "Whoo!" we got some more. I was so excited. And then you can also follow us on Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook. I think that's most of
I
it.
think so. Yeah.
Um, but you can also subscribe to our blog. You can subscribe to our email list to get our newsletter, which is also on our website. Um,
I forgot to do the March newsletter.
oh my gosh, as we
Oh
are
my
saying that,
God.
we're recording and this episode comes out like mid-March.
Oh no.
It's been a hectic couple of weeks. It's
It
okay.
has been crazy. I
It's
will work
fine.
on it. I'm sorry, y'all.
It didn't even dawn on me. That's how mentally tired I am.
Well, I mean, she asked me, she got this job and she's like, can you please do the March
I know
newsletter? I'm like, of
yeah,
course I can.
yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Oh my Lord.
Um, but we've been trying to keep the front page of our website updated to our topics every week and our After Dark as well. We added a new section underneath our normal topic
Mm-hmm.
section, and it usually has a cute picture and a description of what our After Dark episode has that week. So if you're interested in the description, you can go subscribe if that's something that sounds very interesting to you. Um, I would
Speaking of
say
subscribing,
go
I
subscribe.
just posted an Ostara recipe for you all. Anybody who is a patron can get
Woo!
that for free.
Hmm.
So yeah, go if you want to subscribe, you can have access to all those extra
And
goodies.
if you don't want to miss an episode about zombies in a couple of days, then go
Mm-hmm.
subscribe right now because that's coming out
Yes,
on Sunday. And I'm so excited about that episode. I know it has nothing to do with witchcraft, but maybe, who knows?
kinda, maybe, sorta.
You're gonna have to listen and see.
Listen and find out.
And anyways, I think that's it. I think that's
I
all that
think
we
so.
have. And
Yeah, thank you all for listening for
yes,
sure.
thank you for listening.
We ramble through all this
So
stuff, but
much.
you y'all are wonderful. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
And until then, stay witchy.
Woo.